interesting with Eve specifically because, like you said, there was a lot of buzz leading up to deadline that he might get moved. He's not someone that this regime drafted, and he clearly plays minutes in a position that the guy they did draft should be playing in their eyes. But the thing with Eve is he's been one of their more impactful players, um, just from like in terms of impacting winning and impacting the plus minus. Like they're better with him on the court than they are off the court with him. And so going into the trade deadline, he was playing so well that I think they realized that the few seconds or so that might be out there for him are just not worth it, worth giving up on the cost controlled young impact big right now. And so they made that decision to keep him. Now, you do have to wonder from a cynical level if they decided to not make some of the moves that were on the table because they wanted to make the pick to Atlanta as worse as possible. That's one way to look at things. But just with regarding Eve, I think his productivity, at least from a scoring standpoint, definitely took a step back because there was no playmaking guard. I think he plays best with DeJounte, a guy like DeJounte out there. And DeJounte's only just gotten back. And even now, their minutes don't overlap all that much because the Pelicans are starting a small unit, whereas Eve's coming off the bench. But you mentioned Luka, like that is the ideal guy. You want a rim rolling big to play with. There was that joke, like DeAndre Ayton said he doesn't want to be Clint Capella. Eve is happy being Clint Capella. He's happy getting the offensive rebounds and running the lanes and just trying to outwork people. So I do think if a team with a high level playmaker acquires him, we'll probably see a better version of him than we're seeing now. But I will say for James Borrego and their staff, he is definitely the big they trust the most to close games with, especially when it comes to defense. Like that's the guy that they're like, okay, like we have complete faith on him being on the court, and he's gonna hang defensively and he's gonna battle on the offensive glass and make a difference.
Completely. And he's a guy that if they were to keep him, he is the type of guy who could clean up the defensive mistakes that Derek Queen would allow or the limitations he has because of him being not the longest front court player.
I think he's kind of like the guy that Zion and Queen are not good at, like rim protecting, defensive, like just switching and stuff. Like he's everything that they're not. And
he does the dirty work. They don't do the dirty work, right?
Yeah.
Like, they get the assists, they get the points, but like, are they down there scrapping? Are they down there, like battling, setting hard screens? Like, no, they're not doing. I mean, again, to Zion's credit, he is, I think, in my opinion, transformed his game a lot this season. Would they be playing a lot harder if they were playing for the playoffs right now? Sure. But Zion, I think, has overhauled this game. This is the most off ball that he's ever played. His efficiency as a result has climbed back up. His, the percent of the looks he gets at the rim relative to the rest of his shots has climbed back up. The assisted number of looks he gets back has climbed back up. And so there's a lot of things trending in the right direction. And Zion, like, again, to his credit, has bought in doing that stuff. But you're right that like, you can't teach motor for some players. Right. Some players just have it. Like nobody has to teach Josh Hart how to play hard, right? Like that he just has it. So Eve's one of those guys that's just how he's going to play every time he's on the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. He's real fun to watch. Speaking of a guy who honestly, when I watch him play, I don't know if it's stoic or I don't want to say disinterested, but like he's really just not gotten a fair shot at opportunities. And it's a player that would, in theory, help them. Jordan Hawkins. He's kind of seen his role reduce. And I know, again, going to the regime and everything, this isn't the one that brought him in. But for being a first-round pick who's supposed to be a three-point shooter with a little bit of secondary playmaking, we understood his rookie year. He was forced to be a ball handler when he wasn't because of injury. And since then, it's just feels like they just don't play him unless it's garbage time or injuries.
I mean this with all the respect possible because Jordan Hawkins is going to be is a better basketball player than 9.9% of the world. I just don't think he is a good NBA level basketball player. Certainly not one that impacts winning. He's His shot, one, is the main thing that's holding him back because he just doesn't go in at a consistent enough rate. But the other thing with him is when that shot's not going in, is he provides absolutely nothing that a team needs. He doesn't provide rebounding, defense, um, anything, really, just anything. And so not even secondary playmaking. And so those players who are make or break with just their 3-point shot, like, I'm sorry, man, he's shooting, I think, like 26 or 28% from the field or something absurdly low. I think it's a horrendous number at this point. But yes, some of that's because the minutes have been up and down. But I do think he was given a fair shot of the last 3 seasons. They picked up his 4th-year option, and that's this regime. They picked it up sight unseen, and I think some of it was like, hey, maybe like we should pick it up, and it's not going to hurt us in case he pops off this season. But like, I think there were a handful of people, and me amongst them, who were skeptical of him as a prospect coming in at draft time because of these reasons, because he doesn't do anything outside shoot. And yeah, like that's just unfortunately been the case for him at the NBA level. But, again, this guy is probably going to kill it. If he doesn't stick in the league, like you might hear him in Europe just being like the all-time leading scorer there or something. I don't know.
Hey, there's a silver lining for anything.
I think kind of like his calling card, right, coming into the draft was shooting, and everyone was raving about his shooting. Everyone knew that he couldn't play defense. People were going to target him, but everyone was just like, if he can shoot, like he'll be able to get minutes. But he has not shown he can shoot. I think his rookie year, it might have been his best year. His rookie year, the second year, in terms of like he had a couple like 30-point games and like had like over 5 threes like each game. But then since I think just his confidence level has just been down the drain now. He's not getting the time anymore. And just new guys like Fears comes in like a rookie. He just sees these guys coming, like younger guys than him, coming and get the time. And he's literally out there. I see him like he's kind of like the first or second one to leave the locker room a lot of times.
Yeah, I think you're right about the confidence level. I do think like Willie Green specifically, like I've heard the stories, like he was really hard on Hawkins, and he contributed a lot to those initial like minutes just kind of being yanked around, and there's a lot I think that went down that contributed to Willie eventually being let go, and the locker losing complete support of him. And I think a lot of it, not a lot of it, but certainly a part of it was, how his relationship was with Jordan Hawkins, and how he interacted with those kind of players. So I think that, yes, you're absolutely right that his confidence is just probably at an all-time low. And I don't think he has been given any sort of investment from the front office either, right? Outside of them picking up his team option, like, they're bringing in guys to replace him at every position. So it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you just got to you got to fight through it. You got to keep putting the work in. And he does. He's a professional. He stays late after every practice. He's playing in their, sorry about that. He's playing in their conditioning games for the guys that are not in the rotation. So he's a good kid. Like just from someone who is like a part of the team and not going to rock the boat, like he's a great kid. Like he's not once been someone that, despite everything, has like, let's say, like, openly pouted or openly like sulked or criticized or said that, hey, this isn't fair, that kind of stuff. Now he's just kind of like taking it in stride, which is good.
Just jumping from Hawkins to like a former first round pick, and then to one that you kind of just gave away. Like I know publicly Dumars and maybe even Weaver are saying like, no, we don't regret it. But like behind the scenes, do you get the sense that maybe we shouldn't have done that so quickly?
I can't speak for those guys.